Hey guys, Reckless Fox here. Now, before we get into the review of Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, just want to give a quick announcement that this review will also be on the other channel I work for called Morphin Network. So if you have not yet, be sure to follow them right now. Go to Morphin Network on YouTube, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Also, be sure to follow them on Instagram and their Facebook page. Just type in facebook.com/morphinnet. And on Instagram at MorphinNet. So be sure to check those guys out. Great content, great Power Ranger content. If you guys are really into Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and Tokusatsu material, you will love that channel. Until then, enjoy the review. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid was announced back in early February, with the developers at Enway, creators of the mobile game Power Rangers Legacy War, saying that this was a brand new game. They also said that it would be its own standalone fighting game, with Justin Wong aiding them with the production of the game. The game's been out right now for about a couple of weeks, and the big question now is, how does it hold up with the likes of Street Fighter, Tekken 7, the upcoming Mortal Kombat 11 game, Soul Calibur 6, and many others? Well, let's find out. Story mode. The game's story borrows heavily from Boom Studios' Power Ranger comic book event, Power Rangers Shattered Grid, quintessentially their Crisis on Infinite Earths / Injustice story, which I must say is a great read if you guys want to check it out. Anyways, Lord Draken, the evil doppelganger of Tommy Oliver from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, is tearing up shop across the Morphin grid. Zordon of Eltar calls upon Power Rangers from all the seasons to stop Lord Draken. On paper, this sounds awesome. The problem, however, is that there is no story mode, which goes into my issues with the game, but I'll put that on hold for right now. Anyways, the game's arcade mode is pretty much their answer to story mode, with each of the 9 playable characters having their own fight your own rival match before fighting Lord Draken. Also, there's no voice acting in the game, so which might be a problem to some. I don't mind, but I know people who really like voice acting in their fighting games. Gameplay. If you love fighting games with really good mix-ups like Marvel vs. Capcom, Skullgirls, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Guilty Gear XR, just to name a few, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is the game for you. Honestly, for me, the mechanics in this game are something to adore, especially for a Power Ranger game that we've been waiting for God knows how long. Thankfully, Justin Wong, a very well-known name in the FGC, helped with the development of the game, considering it's been 2 months since the game was announced. The mix-up games is something that could potentially get the game a spot at next year's EVO, as long as the devs continue to support the game, which I am happy to say they love listening to their fans. A minor issue I continue running into is that some of the characters are just way too OP. Goldar, the Magnet Defender, and Lord Draken are perfect examples. If you get caught in a combo with either one of these 3, well, your ass is grass, since the game has no advancing guards. Oh my god. That is the cheapest shit I've ever seen! Are you kidding me? What kind of Wile E. Coyote bullshit is this? Also, big bonus to Enway for putting cross multiplayer in the game, meaning if you pick up the game on the Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, or PC, everyone can catch the hands no matter where you go. It's good to see a development team like Enway welcome the idea of cross multiplayer with open arms, especially for a game with so much magnitude between 2 communities who both have been asking for a Power Ranger fighting game for the longest. Graphics. What it looked like though. Graphics in the game are pretty crisp. There really is nothing much else to say about the graphics other than the fact that they're just updated versions of the Legacy Wars graphics. Negatives. Is it trash or not? There's much to unpack when it comes to talking about the negatives for Battle of the Grid. For starters, in case y'all haven't noticed, there are only 9 characters currently on the roster. Lord Draken, the Ranger Slayer, the Mazadon Centurion from the Power Rangers comic book, Goldar, the Green Ranger, and the Red Ranger from Mighty Morphin, the Magnet Defender from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, the Cat Ranger from Power Rangers SPD, and the Yellow Super Mega Force Ranger from Power Rangers Super Mega Force. That's it! Now, the devs at Enway did say that the next update will be adding 3 additional characters for free, as they are gearing up to release their first Season 1 pass at some point, so kudos to them. However, this doesn't take away the fact that 9 playable characters in today's modern fighting games does not cut it. Also, half the roster is filled with Mighty Morphin Power Ranger characters. Like, it's cool to see Mighty Morphin characters, but we couldn't get, like, another pair of characters from each of the other seasons, such as Super Mega Force. I mean, granted, I'm not the biggest fan of that season, by no means, but we could have at least gotten another character such as the Silver Ranger, or better yet, the Shadow Ranger from Power Rangers SPD could have been in the game when it was released. The lackluster roster isn't the only thing Battle for the Grid suffers from. The lack of game modes is another issue to address. When booting up the game, the only modes that are available are ranked match, casual match, arcade, versus, and training mode. That's pretty much it, which is disappointing, especially for people who are not only longtime Power Ranger fans who've been waiting on a console/PC game, but also for those who've been asking for a fighting game starring Power Rangers. Now I understand that some of y'all might say, well, what did you expect from a $20 game that's made essentially from indie developers? But when you look at games like Skullgirls, which came out back in 2013 and cost $10, the game not only had arcade, online, and versus mode, the game also has story, a trials, and tournament mode that made up for its lack of characters. Just keep in mind, the game at the time only had 9 characters. And this is before the next 2 updates that came out later on. Fighting EX Layer, although it wasn't $20, had 12 additional characters at the start of its release. Honestly, if Enway and Hasbro put more game modes in the game, 9 characters would have not been an issue. To me, this game feels as if it was rushed, and honestly, it would have been a better idea if this game was a surprise announcement at E3 this year, like how Dragon Ball FighterZ was back in 2017. Better yet, if Enway had just continued to work on the game to the end of the summer and showcased it at EVO, which is the mecca of the FGC community, and showed off more characters in game mode, then the game could have potentially turned more heads to see what it's all about. Because again, at EVO, magic happens.
So smart!
Oh my
so
God!
smart!
Genius!
So smart, he couldn't burst because of the super. But Washiga thinks it's over!
Lock down,
But he
lock
won
down,
the last
lock down.
round!
What
And
is
Ogawa doesn't
What
care!
is yours?
He still got 65%!
Oh my God!
Washiga, no!
Washiga, not like this! What are you
What
standing
are you
up for?
standing up for?
Why? Why?
Oh my God! Washiga thought it was over and stood up, and Ogawa gave him no remorse!
That is exactly what happens. Don't not celebrate too much. Pop off!
Oh
Pop off.
my God!
Don't stay on the ground! Martin! Martin! Time is exploding! Woo! Little Martin going to top 8 winner! Give him the brown! Give him the brown!
Let him know, Margin. Let him know.
Let the world know!
And Silent Fox is your Dragon Ball Fighters Evolution 2018 champion.
Thankfully, as I review this, there is a silver lining. Enway currently is taking suggestions on how to improve the game, such as releasing the 3 new characters for free in the next update. And from what I've read from the Twitter page, people within the Power Rangers community and the FGC are very respectful when it comes to improving the game. To me, that's a win in my book when people are not being absolute jerks about a game that they wish could be better. Final verdict. I'm broke, do I get it or not? If I can describe Battle for the Grid with one word, that word would be potential. There's no possible way that a game with such fluent fighting mechanics and solid gameplay could be abandoned like some games, which I will try not to mention, especially when you get 2 big communities who want this game to succeed. However, if you are trying to buy the game now, I strongly advise you guys to just wait until the game gets updated, or when the game's on sale for like 10 or 15 bucks. The lack of content and characters are the biggest issue with the game. And once again, if you have any suggestions that you want to give to the developers of Battle for the Grid, you can always find them on their Twitter and Instagram page. They actually do talk with the community as a whole, not just the Power Ranger community, but the fighting community as well, because both communities actually want to see this game succeed. Overall, when it's all said and done, I give Power Rangers Battle for the Grid a solid 5 out of 10. Once the patches, the updates, and the Season 1 pass drop, we'll be revisiting Battle for the Grid at some point at the end of the year or the beginning of next year.
Hey there, enjoyed the video? If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to hit the bell icon because YouTube's algorithm is still a straight dumpster fire. Now, if you want more information or any more updates on my new videos that are going to be coming out, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheReckless_Fox. And you can follow me on twitch.tv/recklessfox, where I do all my live playthroughs and live reviews of television and movies with the rest of my friends. Speaking of which, if you want some more content, you want to scratch that itch and, fill that void, and when I'm not doing any new videos, you can follow soundcloud.com/scrubclubgaming. That's soundcloud.com/scrubclubgaming, where episodes of the Scrub Club podcast are now up, as well as new episodes of the Scrub Lounge. Till then, keep it working things $20 or less. Peace!